Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Hopefully, everybody can hear me. My name is Jennifer Waters. Hello, hello. I'm turning up the volume here. My name is Jennifer, and I am part of the CNY Fertility and CNY Healing Arts team here in Central New York. How's everybody doing today? I know it's been a challenging week, a challenging month, a challenging year, decade, life. Life is not easy. It is not for the faint at heart. Nobody ever said it was going to be easy or fair. So here we are, doing the best that we can. We are here to support each other and help you on your journey to conceive a child or children. I am an acupuncturist and certified light therapist, and I have been working on really trying to understand the endocrine system in a way that's most beneficial for you, in a way that gives you the most power to make the changes that you need. Because here's the truth: if you are working on improving your fertility, enhancing your fertility, whatever it is related to fertility, then you need to focus on the endocrine system. And I have been receiving a lot of marketing and information and all of that jazz for a long time in this field. And what I am noticing very clearly now is that many people are going at it in a very roundabout way. And I think we need to directly address how can you repair your endocrine function, period. So we know the thyroid is the center of all of your hormones and can be the game changer, right? In your fertility, if you're preventing miscarriage or trying to support implantation for the first time, or even having a successful egg retrieval or IUI. But what's upstream from the thyroid is the hypothalamus and pituitary, and then all the other glands are downstream from that. So it has been my experience that if you say you're going to just focus on your thyroid, you have low thyroid, hyper or hypothyroid, whatever it may be, and you decide, you know what, you're just going to focus on repairing that. Guess what? All the other glands are going to start to function better. Why? Because none of the glands work in isolation. They all are in relationship to each other. So you fix one system and all the other systems will improve. Okay. They're not necessarily going to be perfect, but everything is going to get nudged in the direction towards functioning better. So the endocrine system is unique because why? They're called the ductless glands. Why? Because these little glands, hormone, remember, is the word that means to make happen. It's a Greek word and it means hormone, to make happen. So they make a lot happen. I think that they are really the beginning and the end of almost everything in the body. And what aging is, I feel, aside from negative emotions, is the endocrine system entering what we call the autoimmune phase, right? So the way that autoimmune syndrome has been explained to me is much different than other places. And I find it extremely important to understand this, that you can repair your glands and pull them out of the autoimmune phase. So that's really important to know. So these little glands, the powerhouses in your body, are secreting hormones directly into your bloodstream. And so this is why one of the things that I find really important and often overlooked in our fertility journey is your structural alignment of your pelvis, right? Where is your uterus? Is she retroflexed or antiflexed, antiflex or retroverse, or one side to the other? Because what happens is the uterus is going to pull the ovaries out of location, and that decreases the amount of fresh blood that's able to come to the area. And the blood is what's delivering the hormones. So if you have what we call blood stasis pattern, you are not receiving the fresh blood full of the hormones that you need to get things functioning better. Listen, your endocrine system wants to do its job. Your ovaries want to do their job. It's only a part time job. So they really don't, they're not going to complain because they're only working part time, anyways. So it's when they get suppressed over a long period of time, then they say, well, why would we want to work now? We've been in retirement for years. We've been on hormonal birth control, or we have been put into the polycystic ovarian syndrome phase. So we're not going to just do our job unless you give us specifically what we need. They're requesting specific nutrients of information so that they can do their job. A lot of it comes down to fat, right? So I decided to use AI today to see what does AI say about repairing the endocrine system. Did they say anything interesting at all? And this is the problem with getting online sources. Is some of it's good and it certainly has its place, but it's really a lot of it is missing the most important information that you need in order to make the changes. And that really does come down to connecting with a person that you feel has the information that you need to apply to your fertility journey to pull you into the path that's going to start repairing your system, right? So if you're working with a practitioner and they don't know how to fix the thyroid or the hypothalamus or your pancreas or your adrenals or your ovaries, then they're probably not the one for you. So please find practitioners that know how to actually help you to repair these glands. It's not rocket science. This is the thing. It's really not. It doesn't have to be hard, but you have to be clear in what you're doing. You have to be clear in your approach. You have to be clear what brought you to this state. If you have PCOS, that means that your ovaries are in the autoimmune phase. Listen, the nature of the ovaries is to grow follicles, right? So we can think of these follicles kind of like cysts. If your ovaries are not receiving the high quality fats that they need, right? Because this is steroidal hormones are produced from fat, right? Quality fats, not trans fats, but high quality fats. If they're not getting the fats that they need in order to produce the follicles, then they will rebel at some point, probably not right away, but eventually they're going to say, you know what, we have to produce something here because this is our nature is to produce something. And we're not going to produce the follicles. We're going to grow cysts instead, right? And they're going to just shut down. They're going to make these cysts and they're going to say, see, I told you, if you don't give me what I want, I will rebel and I am going into the PCOS phase. Then I can just retire and you're on your own. Good luck, thyroid. Good luck, hypothalamus. Good luck, other glands, because we're out. And then the uterus is saying, well, okay, if you say so. I mean, I thought we were in this together, but apparently not. If you're just going to go into early retirement, I am now on my own. And you know what? I'm probably going to enter the autoimmune phase too. And that is what I consider recurring pregnancy loss. Miscarriage is the autoimmune phase of the uterus. And there's a number of factors that contribute to that. And we can absolutely help your uterus to regain the integrity structurally, put her back in a better position. And on the tissue level, we have to repair the tissues. The tissues go into the autoimmune phase because of a lack of blood supply, environmental toxins, the lack of nutrients that she needs to have the integrity from all of the above is what I always say. All of the above. And we always tend to forget the psycho-emotional part. We store emotional patterns in our tissue and in the uterus and ovaries in particular, and the thyroid, right? It's hard to just open your voice and say what you really feel. Half the folks don't even know what they're feeling. And there's so much convolution out there and inside of all of us. And as we work to pull this out, this convolution out of us, and we can regain a clarity of mind, then maybe we can start opening the throat chakra more. Maybe we can start supplying the nutrient to the thyroid that it needs, which is iodine, prolamine, protein bound iodine. What's your advice on being diagnosed Hashimoto's? What test you? Okay, here's the thing. Is this gut coming from? Absolutely, the gut is involved. It's very important. So Hashimoto's is the most extreme phase of the autoimmune phase of the thyroid, right? So we have to remove the inhibition. The first thing is we have to look at, would the body attack itself? The answer is no. Our body is brilliantly designed to heal and repair. So if you believe your body is suddenly attacking itself, you're wrong. And now your body feels betrayed by you. It's not your fault because you've been influenced to think this way. Oh, the body's suddenly attacking itself. It's going to attack the glands that were given to you to create new life. So we have to move. That's outdated thinking. What happens is basically it's like leaky cell syndrome. What should be contained inside the cell ends up going into the bloodstream. Okay, these are nucleic proteins that should be inside the cell. Because the cells lose their integrity from poor nutrition, lack of high quality fats, other environmental toxins, heavy metal toxicity, structural compressions, all kinds of things. The cells become weak. They lose their phospholipid layer. Now these nucleic proteins are in the bloodstream, and the body's saying, okay, foreign invader, foreign invader. The reticuloendothelial system is unable to do its job. It pushes it out into the blood, and the blood's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We need some help here. So the immune system comes in, starts attacking that, and then your doctor says, yep, you're under attack. We are going to punish your immune system for doing its job. This is just like punishing your German Shepherd for barking at an invader. Punishing the dog for doing its job. It's just barking at the invader instead of going after the invader and saying, hey, what are you doing here? We don't want you here. Go back to where you belong so we can secure the housing. So I want you to think, I love to use these analogies because people relate to it and it really makes sense, right? So we don't want to punish your immune system. We want to support the immune system to do what it was designed to do. It doesn't need boosting. It needs the right nutrients to self-repair. So we create, and this is particular to the system that I'm involved with, basically it's a decoy. We introduce the decoy to the body that's related to that tissue type or that gland. The body attacks that, right? So now the thyroid's going, oh my gosh, finally I'm getting some help here. I'm not under attack anymore. Now what do I need? I need the nutrient that is designed to repair the gland. It's that simple, folks, really. How long is it going to take? I don't know. It depends on you. You're the host. We want to strengthen you as the host. And how are we going to do that? That's very personal. Okay. So this is where whoever you're working with, whether it's an RE, a naturopath, an acupuncturist, they need to dial into you personally and decide what is really causing this autoimmune phase and help you to unpack that. And on my website, jenniferwaters.net, I have free resources, and I've got this little pyramid of wholeness, and it looks like a really simple graphic, and it is. But for me, it's very profound because it lays out the layers of what do we need. All of these things have to come into synergy for us to have balance, health, wellness, wholeness, whatever you want to call it. It begins with gratitude. The psycho-emotional part is huge. Then we look at nutrition, we look at structural alignment, and then we look at the bioelectrical part of the body. Because let's say you're doing all of this. You're introducing the decoy to remove the inhibition, which is the antigen to go after the autoantibody. You're supplying the glands the nutrients that you need. You can never go wrong with trace minerals, right? All of the glands have a mineral association. Copper is for the adrenals, iodine is for the thyroid, manganese is for the ovaries, right? So just take some trace minerals. Just make sure you're getting enough minerals. Let's say you're doing all of this, but you're still not feeling like much better, or your blood work isn't showing a lot of improvement. Maybe you're seeing a little bit of improvement. Um, so what's missing? What's missing is the bioelectricity of your body. This is how the blood is flowing through the body, is through our meridians, and this is bioelectric, right? So what happens is the cells get bound up in, you probably heard of the mitochondria, the mighty mitochondria that make the ATP in the cells, the energy of the cells. Nitric oxide can get stuck in there, right? And it prevents the cells from absorbing the nutrients that you're taking. So you have to free that up. And the best way to do that is light therapy, right? Acupuncture is going to help. It's going to nudge things along, the electricity through the channels. Things will get nudged along. But when you start applying light, whether it's the patches, which I love, which I have somewhere here, or an LED pad, which I also love. Now we are really cooking with oil, folks. Now we are freeing up the cells. The cells are functioning, the blood is moving, you're able to absorb these nutrients, and you can make changes in a short amount of time, right? Light is the great accelerator. It's the synergistic approach I have found, because I like to get the job done in a short amount of time, like yesterday. Like, let's get you fixed yesterday or today. I don't want to think about 9 months, 12 months, 2 years, all of that. Sometimes it takes that long, but my mindset is much more short term, right? So we want to give your body the high quality nutrition that it needs, accelerate this absorption with light, work on your emotions, get your spine aligned, get your pelvic tilt good. Now action. And I have seen miracles this week alone. We've had some really good stories at CNY Healing Arts. So I'm so happy. What are your thoughts on red light therapy? Wonderful. So when you say red light therapy, please know that it's always red in near infrared. Okay. So the search term that's most used in the field of light is red light. This is what thousands, if not more, people are searching for, and it means red and near infrared. And the red light warms up the tissue so the near infrared can pass through the tissue and into the organ level. The thyroid's the easiest because it's very superficial, right? We tend to think of the thyroid in the front, but I really want you to start thinking of it through the back also. So, because the spine, C7, C6, C5, T1, gets compressed. Why? Our head is like a bowling ball, right? And our necks are weak. If you've ever had an infant or seen an infant develop, what's the last thing to develop other than the stomach? The neck, right? So our necks are weak. So our heads are heavy. So what happens is we get these issues in our cervical spine. This is what supplies the thyroid gland. So work on that thyroid gland from the front and the back. Banani 24. Email me and I'll share that with you. There's lots out there, and I do work with a company that I like, and I do believe all of the CNY fertility locations now have light. So when you go in, let them know ahead of time so they have it all ready for you. But please make sure you request it there. Some people want to rent a device. Some people want to own one. Some people just want to go in and do 5 or 6 sessions. Whatever you want to do is perfect. Okay, so don't worry about it. Just start including light in your life. I noticed I should live thyroxine. My period's delayed now. Is that normal? That's interesting. That could be because the thyroid hormones get transformed, they get conjugated, they get created in the liver. So when anything is going awry in the body, we have to look to the liver. You want to support your liver through this whole experience anyways, because there's a lot. The pharmaceutical drugs burden the liver. The emotions you're going through burden the liver. It's no big deal. Just unburden the liver. We've got really simple, easy things to do. You can do it by adding lemon in your water. I'm sorry. I'm going to put my information here in Instagram, and then I'll respond to Facebook. Reach out to me. I have a 7 Fertile Secret Guide. If you go to my fertility page on my website, jenniferwaters.net, then you can download this guide. And I talk about the 7 secrets to enhancing your fertility, which for me is all about this approach, what I'm talking about, the emotions, the structure, the synergy of the right nutrients, getting the glands out of the autoimmune phase, getting things to be fixed, deciding on the highest quality oil for you. The number one oil for your ovaries, believe it or not, is wheat germ oil. It's gluten free. It's the most natural form of vitamin E. It's highly absorbable. You can take it orally, you can do it vaginally. You can use it on your skin. I would bathe in it if I could. I absolutely love this oil. And what it does is the precursor to the steroidal hormones that your ovaries are dying to produce for you. They want to do this for you. In 1935, I believe this oil was widely researched in the prevention of miscarriage. So you can go to, I think it's pubmed.gov, put in wheat germ oil and pregnancy loss, and you are going to be amazed at what comes up. I've had women with 5, 6, 7 miscarriages add this one nutrient into their diet, and suddenly they maintain a successful, happy pregnancy. So April Steer, reach out to me, okay? Go ahead and email me through my website so I can share with you. Yes. And here's the thing that I love about wheat germ oil. It's affordable. Here's the really sad thing that I have found out about the vitamin industry. And I used to work for the GNC in 1985. So I've been in the biz for a long time. And now what's happened is there's only 5 companies that make vitamins. And guess who owns them? Well, the pharmaceutical industry. So now the vitamin industry really is similar to the pharmaceutical industry. And the problem with synthetically isolated nutrients is that they function as drugs in the body. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes you need a high dose of something to create a change for a short-term situation here. But if you're looking to repair your endocrine system for the long haul, and I'm not just you, but your offspring, I believe that when you repair yourself on a cellular level, this is affecting the next generation. So if you're able to think like this and you want to think about the long haul, you don't need synthetically isolated nutrients acting as drugs in the body. You need whole food created vitamin complexes that are designed for your absorption, not designed for the label. We've all been trained to look at the label. I need 5,000 IUs of this. I want 500 milligrams of that. No, don't think that way. You want to think about absorption. It has nothing to do with the label. That's all the FDA nonsense and what they say we have to put on the label and blah, 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 blah. So when you work with a company that doesn't have all those big fancy numbers on the label, you know they are working with absorption. And that doesn't translate to what's going on in the lab. So I can understand how they ended up going down that path. Can I take glutathione on level of thyroxine? Okay, here's the thing. Glutathione is naturally created in the body. You do not need to take it. In fact, the kinds of lipospheric glutathione that are available for you to take have a half-life of 5 to 10 minutes in the body, right? And they will raise your glutathione levels for those 5 to 10 minutes up approximately 30%. So why bother? I mean, geez, you could go jump on a trampoline or drink lemon water in the morning to increase your glutathione levels naturally for 5 to 10 minutes. So I have other solutions for how to increase our cellular ability to create endogenous glutathione in the body. Now we're talking, okay? This is a very different experience than I'm going to go get a glutathione IV, which again, those IVs, and I used to think, oh, that's great, that's wonderful. And I'm not saying they're horrible. It's just not sustainable. And it's not necessarily going to repair your ovaries, your uterus, your thyroid, your thymus gland in the way that's going to sustain you. So, what I offer are things that you can use short term that are reparative, and then you no longer need them. I mean, here's the thing. Um, Once you fix your thyroid, you're good to go, right? You don't need to take these things indefinitely. So I've been working on some different programs, and the first one is 2 weeks long. That's it. Because I see a lot of women, they just had their transfer, they have a history of miscarriage, they have PCOS, whatever, and they need to do something short term. They're looking for successful implantation, and then we're not going to worry about the rest. So you can do something for 2 weeks and make a change. Castor oil is great. I love it externally. Try to get the stuff in glass. It was explained to me repeatedly that because it's so absorbing in its nature, if it's in plastic, it's going to absorb all the plastic stuff in there, and you don't want that. So get castor oil in glass, slather it on your whole abdomen. It's great if you have PCOS. You just want to be careful which part of your cycle you're in if you're doing a transfer. Oh, what was the other thing? Oh, I'm working on a whole thing for you about PCOS. And on my website, under free resources, I have a little PDF that talks about it because I believe, if nothing else, let's prevent things from getting worse. Okay, so that's the autoimmune phase of the ovaries. There's things that we can do to support the ovaries, especially between retrieval and transfer. Okay, whether you're doing a fresh or a frozen, let's get your ovaries calmed down and in the best possible situation for, again, doing their job after a retrieval. And that you kind of do want to start, um, at least a week before your transfer if you have PCOS. I didn't see that other question about DOR and what can you do. You can do a lot. You can absolutely do a lot. Can you do something to get better quality blasts after testing? Oh, yes. Yes, you can. Remember, I'm going to just keep saying the same thing over and over. Get that PDF on my website. We're going to look at the structure. Where is your uterus? Get her in a possible situation. We're going to supply the nutrients that your endocrine system needs. And we are going to accelerate everything with light, not forever. 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months. That's it. It's all you need to do to create a change. I'm sure of it now after this wonderful week that we've had. Okay. Do you recommend for light therapy? Yes. Yes, Elizabeth Grayson, go ahead and email me. I'm going to put this in the post here. And then, how do you know if you're absorbing nutrients and supplements? Good question. I love that question. You know how you know if you're absorbing nutrients and supplements? You feel better. You're getting the results you want. Your blood work is improved. If you want to go down that blood work path, it's not necessary for everybody. I call it testing, 1, 2, 3. I see a lot of people come to see me. They've had tons of blood work, tons of testing. They still don't know what to do. So the blood work is a snapshot in time. It's not necessarily a full reflection of what's going on. They may have missed the most important things that you need to have tested for your blood. It's expensive, it's invasive. So I rely a lot on symptoms. How are you feeling? Are you getting cervical mucus? Do you get a rise in your temperature? Let's go back to some of the basic ways that we have been testing and observing for a long time. If you do not have a gallbladder, which is the number 2 surgery in the United States right now, you need to be supporting your digestion with some bile salts, because you will not absorb what you need unless you have bile. The bile is essential, especially for the endocrine system. It's really interesting as I learn more about absorption of nutrients and the role of the bile and quality and quantity of bile. So now we know your gallbladder's gone. So it really comes down to the liver. And what happens is you need to chew your food well to unburden the stomach. And then the small intestine, the duodenum, which is the first place after the stomach, has a much better environment to start absorbing these nutrients, in particular protein and fat. So a lot of you are on a high protein diet with a lot of fat. So it's absolutely essential, Asia, for you to include some bile salts. How How do I keep inflammation away, taking antibiotics and endocrine and prepping for another? Good question, Michelle. Very good question. Here is my talk on inflammation. Inflammation is not a cause of anything, it's the result. Remember when, oh, Hashimoto's, yes, you can do the CMOS. Anytime you're doing food based iodine, go for it. It's going to help you. Remember when you sprained your ankle or your wrist or something? What's the first thing to show up to help you? Inflammation. We call this the inflammatory response, right? So inflammation is there to protect you. So now, again, this is another big myth. And I believe this all started when prednisone was invented. Suddenly, everything was a result of inflammation. Inflammation is causing your endometriosis. No, it's not. Inflammation is the result of endometriosis or itis, right? So we know with the itis, there's a bacterial involvement. We want to look to the bacteria, use some natural remedies, use some simple things like castor oil to get this bacteria out, to start strengthening you as the host, right? Then suddenly inflammation goes away on its own. Yeah, exactly. So inflammation is our friend. We need to stop punishing it. We need to say, wow, I've got all this inflammation. Why? It's usually because of late stage degeneration of the endocrine system from all of the above, right? So now we need to start repairing these glands. And you can do it. I know you can. It's very exciting. It's been such a good week. And I'm feeling a lot more hopeful now than I was a year ago today when I didn't have all of the same information. So I continue to learn. I'm not a huge fan of antibiotics, anti-life. Don't tell anyone though. What is the best short-term solution? Things can go with DOR for a second. Yeah, well, exactly. Again, ozone therapy is kind of cool. I think it's really cool. It's helpful. I mean, some people love it. It just depends. So I want you to move away from your diagnosis, okay? Because when you claim what you have over and over and over, I have this, I have that, then the body's responding saying, yep, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. We got this. We're in this together. So I want you to stop saying that. So I want you to just start thinking about, what do I need to do to repair my endocrine system to create the most ideal environment? Okay. And that's where I have a lot of info. Download the 7 fertile secrets on my website and you'll get a lot of information there. And then just email me. Michelle, they said I had chronic endometritis, but I had no other weird. So rather than take oregano oil. Yeah. Yeah. You can. Now it depends, Michelle, on what stage you're in. So if you're looking to do a transfer soon, we really need to make sure the environment, the internal terrain is as clean as possible. So that is where you would want to accelerate with light and probably do a couple things together. Sometimes we even do veggie steaming if you can find somebody that has a steamer or create one on your own. So, because we really want to make sure that that is eliminated. And I have had success with that. I've had patients be able to overcome that. Absolutely. We have very potent, when it comes to antibacterials, we have really strong stuff in the natural world. Remember, if you're using plant-based medicine or whatever, if you're not getting the results that you want, take more. Okay, think about ibuprofen. If you have a headache and you took 200 milligrams and 2 hours later you still have a headache, what are you going to do? You're going to take another one. So it's the same when you're using natural remedies. Mostly, this is a big generalization. If you're not getting the results you need, you're not at the right dosage, right? So the dosage, again, this is why it comes back to personal. We need to dial into you, and you may need to take a lot more of something than somebody else. There's a big difference between a 200-pound woman and a 120-pound woman. Okay. Sometimes not. sometimes the older, the heavier you are, you may be more sensitive. It just depends. So dosage is key to make changes on the blood level because this is the level that we're at, right? Veggie bloom. I don't know that, but possibly. I think it's good. I see. Yeah. So that's important, Michelle. You got to make some changes there and you can do it. There's a couple other products that I like. So email me and I promise to get back to everybody. All right, I have to go. Thank you for your interest in yourself, your health, the health for you, your family, and the next 7 generations. Okay, nothing is set in stone. Just because it's in your DNA doesn't mean that you're going to pass this on. Okay, something has to turn those genes on. Okay, and that's what we are looking to change. Thank you, Michelle. Bless you all too. I'm going to say goodbye to Facebook. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Take care of yourself. Be kind.